What's up, Captain? Just gonna wait for a few more people to get in here to start charting away. Watch ES as it goes. Thailand, that's pretty cool. That'd be crazy to trade at night. It's like I think it's just crazy for people who live in the West Coast. You know, they could wake up at what four and start pre-market. They could be done trading by 9. They could work a typical 9 to 5 and be done. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to how many we got in here? 2. We'll just wait for a few more. I'm trying to. Hopefully, you guys like the videos I put out this weekend. Just gonna keep pushing out videos left and right. Yeah, look at this after. Let me save it. Screen looks so high. All right. Yeah, Keith. That's kind of how my afternoons are. Like recently, I've just decided not to trade, not to be on a computer with my kids when my wife goes to work. You know, I do miss a little bit, but um, yeah, they're crazy. Right now, they're both sleeping, so and my wife's home, so it kind of helps. So we'll go ahead and get started, guys. We'll start with ES and then go through certain stocks and then circle back. TTWO and Zingo, I think, merged. It's interesting. Guys, I like this on I posted this on Twitter. If you guys have Twitter, definitely please help me and like retweet it. Trying to grow this channel, trying to get more viewers and everything in here. All right, so yes, we did break above a little supply we had that we initially rejected overnight. Right here, I had just a Not the best one because we don't have that huge sell-off here, but overnight, nice short there. You could have, I can't. I'm gonna start trading futures. You have that overnight over there, and then we rejected this 1 hour right here. This 1 hour, one of the few bases we had from that huge sell-off on the 18th. We rejected that pretty much to the penny right here. So as we broke through here, I like to erase it. We do have, most of my charts are going to have the last week's VPOC, which is the volume point of control based on last week. You can kind of use that as a support and resistance. Usually if you want to keep going up, we got to stay above that. But we have kind of this uptrend going too that we're kind of touching. A lot of people are saying maybe an inverted head and shoulders, maybe a head and shoulders here. I have a kind of a lot lower time frame demand here. Not gonna really, if we break through that, we're definitely gonna go for that gap fill, which on ES is a significant, with a significant gap up. But let's just play. Let's try not to predict what's gonna happen. If you look at the higher time frame, I did the fib from this recent high to the low, and that 0.53958, which was pretty much the high here. That 0.618 is 3990. And daily supply is going to be at 4,000. So I think 4,000 is going to be a really, really tough spot. And Q really didn't make supply, but also it did pull back with ES to make supply. But I posted that this is either going to be super, 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 super weak right here this hour, just like ES. It's going to be either super weak because we tested it once, twice, not yet there, or there's just a really, 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 really strong seller there. VIX, here's my plan on VIX. Um, I'm kind of predicting on what we data error, no real time or data. Okay, somehow, but I think we kind of push into Powell, bringing VIX down to our demand down here, which seems to be the bottom, for the month. If we break below that, we can definitely see the market push up, but I think VIX comes down with Powell, possibly Powell talking, kind of like whenever Powell. Well, Powell's not talking. We have FOMC minutes. So hopefully, we come down here, FOMC minutes come down, kind of push it down here, and then after that, push all the way up. We do have an extended weekend, so we have extended weekend. Monday's closed, and then Tuesday's the last day of the month. So I don't really expect much new positions being opened like Thursday, Friday, especially big positions, especially with the end of the month and that extended weekend. A lot of stocks you just gotta watch. Kind of yes, or Friday's high. It's gonna be a lot of spots for it. So bread, but Apple. Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna concentrate on the live stream today. I'm not gonna do any Discord um voice chats. I'm just gonna do the live stream. I do have to watch my son. My son's having his preschool party, so my wife's going to that. So I got the baby, but he'll be in here playing. So I'm just gonna concentrate on here and not try to join VCs. Apple, AMD. Let's see if AMD gapping down. AMD definitely keep on watch. One of the few stocks that it's actually green on the month. Actually had a pretty decent month. It made up. It was up 25% on the month at a point, which is pretty solid considering what ES is down 5%. So not bad for AMD being up current. Why is it over there? AMD currently up 9% with SPY being down. So that means just AMD is definitely one of the stronger of the bunch. But nice bounce off this demand, possibly another bounce off the demand. We are kind of, let's see if we can see it on the regular hours. AMD, kind of watching that downtrend. Looks a little better with extended, but I don't keep my charts on extended. We have extended kind of here. But gonna keep it on with regular hours. But just making higher lows. Pretty nice bounce off. This was a 2-day demand. Love to see it hold. And then up top we have the hourly that we've already tested once. I wish I could find something right here that we sold off on. The gap's not on the daily. For me personally, I don't take gap plays on the daily, but yeah, if you lower time frame, yeah, right here. But it's not on the daily, but it does have a gap up. So with that, I'd watch this right here. If we do get back down to that 85, 88, we definitely could see a nice 2-hour demand there where we pushed up 15%. But AMD's down on pre-market, which is pretty interesting. Facebook, nice bounce from that 2-hour right here. Facebook was definitely super strong Friday. One of the few stocks that looked really, really strong before our huge sell-off. You look at um, Facebook and then you look at SPY. SPY just had that one candle up, which that wick was really weird anyways, and then sold off. So Facebook was definitely a little bit strong on Friday, so keep that in mind. Kind of watch. We're kind of opening up in supply. right there, 194.88. I'd say if we stay above that, we could continue up to that 202. Kind of higher time frame. We do have that 202 is that last candle before a gap down. Not a gap down, but Facebook, a lot of stocks did gap down there. And then we have a daily supply right there at 210. 222. But Facebook has a lot to go up. I'm looking at the 1 hour on Facebook, or yeah, AMD. So gaps aren't. So there. It all depends on how you perceive it on AMD with the gap. Yeah, this is a gap, but technically, if you do go to the daily, it's not a gap. So is it still a gap? You know what I'm saying? I think it needs to. For me personally, it's just you could play different. I think a gap needs to be a gap on all time frames. Especially from daily down. But yeah, you do have. I won't look. See, I'm not really looking at that gap fill. What I'm looking at is that demand before below that created that gap. That's what I'm really looking at. So if we do fill that gap, I'm looking for that demand that caused the gap. And that's where I'm going to get in at that kind of that 80, 85 area. Where we call a lot of bids, call a lot of buyers, and push that stock up. That's my main thing with those smaller time frame gaps, like right here. You could say we filled the gap here. This is on the daily, but what I'm looking at is that last, what caused that gap up, and that's right here. That last candle, the gap up, is going to look like a red candle like this, basically. That candle is going to be green. So that's going to be your supply. We come back. What do? We hit it right here and pushed it back up again. But yeah, the gap's 88.26 to 87.09. But yeah, 85.88 is what I'm looking for, which is the monthly open around, which we have a 2 hour drop. We based here and then pushed kind of even on the higher time frame. We could go 86, like basically around 86 is when I'm going to start looking in the AMD. But a lot of stocks were kind of in no man's land. We're basically in the middle, so we want to see which direction we go. But AMD for me is one of the few stocks on watch just based on that it's actually green on the month. And is NVIDIA green on the month? No, see, NVIDIA is red on the month. Now is put a lot of stocks I try to go to and do the monthly open because that definitely helps with a little support and demand. But NVIDIA here, so we had a nice little bounce. You could do that on the daily. That daily last candle and then that gap up, and that's where a lot of stocks bounced. We had that nice gap up here, bounced, nice there. Definitely struggling pre-market. I mean, Nasdaq's coming down a little bit. See, like NQ, they already or the video already, they filled the gap and then we continue lower. But what I was really should have been watching was that, that last that last sell candle before a nice push with that gap. So that signifies it's super super strong. You tell where did we bounce Friday? I missed a lot Friday, 6% move. Just decide not to trade the rest of the day. Let's look at some news. Possibly wake up. DIDI is the listing. So TTT, it says TT take two provide or take two completes combination with Zynga. So not really messing with anything on that one. Think about XPEV earnings. Just might push EVs if it turns out very well. Trying to find the earnings calendar. There it is. So the earnings calendar here. And then I also have the economic calendar, which I have actually a nice one. So scheduled economic releases, the Chicago and Federal Natural, whatever, Bostic talks at noon. Manufacturing tomorrow, new homes tomorrow, FOMC minutes at 2 p.m., which is a little different than FOMC. A lot of people think it's FOMC, but it's the minutes. It's just their notes. But um, it does affect the market. Lately we've been pushing on those days and then just completely selling off. I'm going to go through the previous ones and have a post about that. I used to have a nice little Word document of all the FOMC meetings on how each one played out. I really need to update that. But Thursday we have job claims, home sales. Friday we have personal income, personal spending, wholesale inventories. So a lot of data probably at the beginning of the month. We have the CPI at the beginning of the month, unemployment rate, job claims. Job claims is going to be the last thing that's going to fall. With I was reading an article with the with the economy. Seems like jobs is like the last thing. Homes are starting to pull back. Inflation's already crazy. Homes are starting to pull back. Um, Supply chains. They say supply chains are never going to go back to normal. But that's our economic calendar. Hopefully, we have a few more talkers in there. We just have Bostic's at noon today. I'm just gonna put up. I've been trying to stay a little organized. Got some post-it notes. Bostic noon speech, which I'll probably be gone for that to pick up my son, which his school ends Wednesday, so can't wait for that. Earnings, we have the only really significant one that's pre-market is XPEV. After close, we have Zoom. We kind of not the craziest earnings. Nvidia Wednesday is gonna be a lot. Definitely, Nvidia Snow could be pretty big. Thursday we got Baba, Dollar Tree, Dollar General. So let's see. That's gonna definitely be a supply chain. Let's see how much they are, and Costco. A lot of supply chain. Kind of like what happened to Target and Walmart, how they got destroyed and how much they're putting out on freight costs and gas and all that. See if it affects, Dollar Tree and Dollar General, kind of the penny of them. Costco, we could hopefully they put a little snippet on them, but Costco makes a lot of money on their membership. Apparently, they're selling a hot dog. They're losing money on selling their hot dog for years. That's why they rose it. Marvel, but Nvidia. Oh, Alta's gonna be a nice one. The main thing is that Nvidia. Hopefully, Nvidia has a little nice push into earnings. I always look to short semis after earnings. That's my main thing on that. As you can tell, whenever have whenever one of them has earnings, we could go to AMD's last earnings. We had that nice gap up that day, but look at that, we fell. Yeah, we'll see. Target had good earnings. They beat revenue. They missed on EPS, and the COO or CEO came out and said how much they're spending in freight cost and all that. But of course, you gotta realize there's a lot of targets. There's a lot of Dollar Trees, so to get those filled, does have a lot of does have a lot. But going back to AMD, you could tell earnings we had that gap up, but after that gap up, we had that sell off. So earnings was May 3rd. If we go to Nvidia, May 3rd, same thing. We had that gap up and then that huge sell off. So it seems like they had a gap fill down here. Yeah, a lot of companies are getting hit like that. But you gotta realize the inflation, what the government's doing is they want us to spend less. So, that's gonna hurt them. You know, Look at Costco since our Costco took a huge dump. Look at that Costco run up from COVID. Used to be 288, hit 608, and finally, with inflation and everything, we're starting to spend less. I'm trying to spend less. There's an article that AMD stock could rally over 70% since Bank of America analysts see multiple catalysts ahead. JP Morgan stocks pops after raising 2002 interest income forecast. So yeah, definitely keep on banks on watch. Costco, I used to love playing Costco over their sale numbers because the main thing with their earnings, they do their monthly sales. So it seemed like every monthly sale they'll pop because they do their monthly sales at the beginning of the month, the beginning of the following month. So they'll release all the sales numbers. So their earnings is really not known because you know what their sales are. But yeah, Costco fell off pretty hard. I was looking for a bounce here. We had a little bounce off that demand here, but fell through. Nothing here. Possibly bouncing off that one red week. Yeah, I also got AVGO delivers world's first 50G automotive Ethernet switch. Which is down. Let's look at what Bitcoin's doing. Just like consolidating right at that huge support. You can tell this weird support is acting around it. Let's go back to our futures, see what they're doing now. Looks like they're struggling a little bit. I think Q made it back down into its demand. You can tell that initial pop right here. So that could have been a good scalp. This is why I don't really like playing trend lines on futures because I mean you got that broke below test, but you really didn't. There's not much profit making here. Upgrades, nothing. Coverage interface. Where's downgrades? Nike got downgraded. I think Nvidia got downgraded too. Yeah, I charted this up yesterday. That was a nice bounce from that same kind of daily. A lot of stocks hit that daily demand that where we gapped up on the 12th. GS came down and hit it pretty well. What, end of day Friday? Let's just go through some. It's 9:05. Let's just go through some different stocks. Firm. If it does come down to that gap up demand, might be a nice spot to get into it. Amazon. Kind of watching that daily demand 2146, but it hasn't proven itself. Usually with these demands, you want it to take out previous highs. So if this demand gets up here and then falls, it's a nice demand. We have supply up here with a huge gap above. Crowd was really, really strong. I think Crowd was one of the very few stocks that was green all day. Friday. Yeah, Friday. Wow. All day Friday. Uh, 142 area seems like a significant area. FedEx. I was waiting a long time for this stock to freaking hit this demand. It finally did, and now we're pushing back up. But of course it did. End of day Friday, which I was not watching anything. Lucid hit that daily supply. It opened up in that daily supply. Look at sell. Opened up in that daily supply. What does it do again? Sell off again. That's why I love demand, supply and demand. mRNA, flat pre-market. Not really. I don't see anything in mRNA. That's where we popped though. Main thing is that 159, 160 area. MU, this thing's been sideways for a while. Trying to find that JPM news. Someone asked about banks. What do you think about GGPI? Never heard of GGPI. Definitely looks like penny stock tendencies. We're at a huge, if we break below that, there's really nothing, really not the greatest price action. I mean, personally, I'd stay away from this, but I don't know much about the company. It seems like it's a SPAC. SPACs are doing horrible. Long-term investing, yeah, you can just grab it and hold, average out when needed if you're grabbing commons. But we're kind of at this huge pivot right now. But we also bounced from it. Didn't really bounce strong, so I could see it coming down. But a lot of this movement looks news-based. You just have this huge pushes and whatnot. So you really can't do TA on these kind of stocks just because most of their movements are based on news. I'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, back. Did y'all see? Look at how organized my office is. I'm so excited. Yeah, I need to. I had honestly never heard of the stock, so um, I'd have to do some research into it. But a lot of things are kind of, if you are a long-term investor, kind of grab stuff here, grab stuff maybe in a little bit, and then long-term hold because we are kind of in our bear market. Once we hit our bull market, we'll be up to all-time highs again. But look, I spent all weekend organizing my office. So my office was kind of a just throw stuff in it kind of room and take care of it later to keep all the other rooms clean. And finally we went through. I told my wife, I was like, if we haven't used it in a year, we are throwing it out or selling it. So we got a lot of stuff for sale, and I went to the dump multiple times. But let's continue. Eventually, I'm gonna get a new desk, kind of get a little corner, because I want to put a bed in here for my mother-in-law too. All those bins are basically empty. Love it. But let's get back to charting. Um, all right, Neo. A lot of people had like a bunch of downtrends that was gonna break. For me, of course, it opened up in. You can take these downtrends. This is why I don't really. You could take a call off that downtrend. We had like another downtrend here that we're heading towards. That one, we almost broke above, but we opened up in supply, so that's not a spot to get. You can tell, nice drop, but XPEV does have earnings. I'm not sure when it's going to be released. PayPal, same thing, that spot here, but I'm really looking for is 74.29 on PayPal. If we do want to continue down, we should see a bounce and then 90 at the upside. Roblox, definitely some heavy consolidation. I just have this little resistance right here. Not really a supply anymore because we did break above and we hit multiple times. So I'm really not looking at it as a supply. Just kind of looking at it as a resistance area. But definitely hard to get over that 35. Right there, Roku. Pretty decent. I'd move this over here. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 2 day, 4 hour. Okay, nothing there. Snap. A lot of consolidation. I think a lot of things are just waiting on good news. Every news we have that comes out just seems negative. And I think that's a lot of reasons. That's kind of like that's why we keep going down. Every news is negative. The war, supply chains, earnings, gas, inflation, FOMC, monkeypox, COVID starting to come back. My wife works at the hospital. I used to work at the hospital. She says it's crazy there. A report came, we had the most new COVID cases since I think February or something like that in America or in New York or wherever the popular states are. So she was like, COVID's kind of trying to make a comeback. And then we have monkeypox. If you're, huh. Jeffries cut software price targets across the board, which is interesting. One bank to cut Microsoft, DDOG, Net, uh, Crowd. They cut a lot of stocks across the board. Okay. Uh, Tesla. Really want Tesla at 440. This should be the last week of the Johnny Depp trial. If everyone's enjoying that. Twitter. Twitter got destroyed. Kind of a nice little rounding right now, but two gaps to upside. Not really looking at Twitter at all. Upstart. I was really waiting for that 60 area. 55. Starting to come down. Boeing. Boeing at like 100 is definitely I think a amazing time to get in. That's gonna be your COVID lows demand. I mean, Boeing is getting destroyed. So if we get down to that 100, man, I'm probably gonna go like 5-6 months out on Boeing and just sit on it. Baba sideways. Chewy no. CRM. A lot of people are talking about CRM. Honestly, don't see it. And then DraftKings, we could see. Watch that kind of 1590, which was previous support, became resistance here. So possibly maybe another resistance and then break above. I have my screen set up. Going down to 6. So we're kind of just flagging as of right now. NQ. There's NQ from that bounce again. Starbit. Starbucks will exit Russia after 15 years, closing 130 licensed cafes. But like I said earlier, my prediction is to kind of have a little push going into the FOMC minutes, and then kind of a decline on Thursday, Friday, going into the long weekend and the end of the month. But appreciate you guys joining. Definitely like the stream, subscribe. All it takes is just clicking that subscribe button. Really doesn't take much else. Doesn't affect you guys at all. Same with the like. A minute and a half. One more minute. There's NQ breaking below. We can see NQ go down to 1173.43, 34. There's a break of structure. Just kind of I let the market do its thing. Facebook came down, filled its gap up. Apple making a push. What's up, Alan? So Apple, Microsoft looks strong. Microsoft's kind of coming down. Possibly fill that little gap up. Apple's staying a little strong. But this is a 30-minute demand, but I don't really like it off open. Yeah, Apple definitely looking strong. SPY $1 million 0-day calls. Wow, 395s. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna go for that gap. Just bounce off that bottom of the band. Apple's staying strong, so that's very interesting. There's a VWAP. Looking for a possible push up that 39370 to grab puts if we're able to push up there. It's gonna be a 0 day. Definitely a lotto, but Apple strong kind of worries me a lot with going puts. one lot of bottom wicks, but struggling here. There's that test. Yes, we broke above. But I see a lot of supplies up above, and we did break that downtrend, but I don't believe it. That 2 minute candle to stay like this. NQ hit last week's VPOC. So it's a nice 2 minute, doji candle. Nice upper wick. At 39.49 is really want to see a nice rejection. That's the kind of the high sell off we had. Hey, Professor. Professor, that candle size thing. I last week it made no sense. I had to take it off because the volume was not equaling the candle at all last week. The only problem is Microsoft's super strong. Apple's staying strong. You've got Facebook made a new high. Nvidia, AMD are a little strong. AMD's barely green. NQ doesn't seem like it wants 11,976. Hopefully this is our possible rejection off that trend line. I'm trimming some here. VWAP test on ES. We had that bull flag breakout fake out. That's when I got in. Yeah. Yeah, it broke the downtrend and then came right back straight down. So yeah, $1 million zero day call. They made 30% on 0 days. Come on over, baby. Come on over, baby. I'm way up. Guggenheim's my nerd says S&P 500's decline could double from here if Fed keeps hiking rates. They want us to stop spending money. That's what they want. Dude, NQ cannot get last week's VPOC. Double top on it. Dude, my dog keeps running into the door. I'm up 30%. I'm down to a runner. Watch at 3922. I got out though. Yeah, that's what I did. I was like, I gotta get out. I made I made 70%. Yo, the whole VC banked on puts right there. That's crazy. Oh, we all got puts, Clifford. We hit the supply. I got in at the supply up here. We kind of broke above, but you tell we had that downtrend, and I love when they fake that downtrend up. But 39.50 definitely was the huge supply, but then we dropped. They just pushed it up, faked the breakout, and then dropped it. And then right now they're kind of faking the gap fill. The thing is, you gotta realize, like, this is why I don't play downtrend breaks. Put this on my Twitter. Don't play a downtrend break, because what do they do? Your profit's not good. You played that downtrend break, you had to either scale out very quick or whatnot. What I'm doing is waiting for that, Oh, we're not even this is overnight session high. That we almost hit that supply up here from that overnight session sell-off. I read it. Yeah, no problem, Clifford. It was you know, that that fake out almost tested that supply close enough. Good time to average in, and then that drop came down on the 1 minute. You could tell broke below VWAP, tested it here, continued dropping. I sold around at 392 22, which I think it was a kind of lower time frame, 2 minute demand here. Could have been a bad sell, but um, I say full on ES. ES needs volume there, barely, but AMD dropped hard. Well, yeah, Dark Pool's waiting for Wednesday. Oh boy. Sunkiss, what do you think? What are you talking about? No, a shark's brain. It's called a shark's brain. You ever know you know what a shark's brain looks like? Google it. Yeah. Facebook could have been a nice rejection. We rejected. What are we? Facebook. I think we're Facebook rejecting a supply. Actually, a nice bounce off that doji on the daily. Missed that. Wow. What are we bouncing off though? There. That's where we at open where we hit this supply. What kind of apple rejected? Oh, AMD still want 686 and a half. Put at right here. It did bounce off that. Oh, that was the other day. That rejection off VWAP. That rejection off VWAP. Come on over. Yeah, that's a push. Huge $13 million Starbucks order. Oh, leap. XOM 6-year high. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky. cleaned my office out this weekend, guys. I went to took like 10 carloads to the dump. I'm not even selling shit. I'm just like I'm throwing everything away. Every 15-minute candle down we have is huge bottom wiki. Yeah, you can tell you go to 15-minute on ES. Every push down we have, buyers have bought it back up. Kind of like AMD puts. So we keep bouncing from this little demand here. We have this structure. Just like looking a little weak. And there's that. Missed that. Yeah, I missed AMD puts there. Damn, JP Morgan up 5%. Trade ticks net flows pretty bullish. We're all gonna wait till Wednesday, or set up for Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, because we're off Monday, and then Tuesday is the last day of the month. The only upside I see is the run up to Nvidia earnings. I think Wednesday. NQ needs 1,200, 12,000. Yeah, but double top 12,000. Intel CEO says supply and demand won't reach balance until 2024. I'm saying supply chains are never going to go back to normal. There's this 39.50. Still want 3958. That's what I really want. Did we break overnight high? Oh yeah. How do we break resistance? People are 3958. That's my goal. That's the half retracement. But that's also I don't like the 15-minute candles at all. Y'all, I'll be back on later. YouTube, appreciate you guys. I'm gonna hop off. I gotta go run up to my son's preschool. My wife took my other kid, and apparently it's too hot right now. But I'll be back on later. Definitely appreciate you guys joining. Um, they're just out. She wasn't expecting them to be outside. They have a bounce house, and they're having like a little ice cream party and all that. But I will try to get it back on later. Probably for like an hour. So thank you guys.